Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to IEF webinar. Today, we are going to discuss how financial institutions are building a future-ready workforce that will help to ace the digital shift in the industry. The BFSI sector is experiencing a major digital shift driven by evolving customer expectations and fierce competition. With ambitious workforce expansion in H1 of this year and continued growth expected, financial institutions are well positioned to capitalize on the government's $5 trillion economy vision and a push for Atmanirbhar Bharat. This drive for financial inclusion is opening up job opportunities in Tier 2, Tier 3, and 4 cities and in rural areas, which till few years back was largely an urban phenomenon. For corporate leaders, this shift presents both challenges and unique opportunities. The demand for a tech-savvy, customer-focused workforce is shaping hiring trends, while retention and skilling strategies must adapt to evolving job roles. This webinar will examine how companies can align talent strategies with digital transformation to create a resilient, future-ready workforce. We have a distinguished, panelists with us. So I'll start with first Mr. Ajay Pandey, who is the head of HR and retail business at L&T Finance. Mr. Pandey has been an HR leader for 30 years of experience, which includes over 21 years in banking, non-banking financial services, BPO, life sciences, and 9 years in Indian Air Force. Also have Ms. Pratima Pinto Thomas. She's CHRO of Fino Payments. So, it's a coincidence, and it's a good coincidence that both our guests are, panelists are from, the defense background. So Ms. Thomas has been, in the defense sector. Currently, as I mentioned, she's the CHRO of Fino Payments. She's an experienced human resource professional with a demonstrated history of working in accounting industry, retail industry, defense sector, skilled in budgeting, talent management, employee engagement, and employer branding. A Gallup certified strength coach, working with youth with a post-graduation in HRDM and business management from NMIMS Mumbai. Welcome, Mr. Pandey and Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Girish.
So we'll start with my first question to you, Mr. Pandey, on what are your thoughts on how, considering as we discussed, with the whole financial inclusiveness and, the whole Atmanirbhar thing, banking and financial services, which was largely, an urban phenomenon, is now going deep into, the far-flung parts of our country. So, according to you, how can talent development be effectively integrated into an overall strategic roadmap? And what are some of the successful examples of building a strong talent pipeline?
Thanks, Girish. So, yes, I agree with you that while businesses now are growing with a higher focus towards rural India, job opportunities obviously are growing in the rural India itself. And the type of jobs which are growing in the rural India are more frontline based and first level supervisor types. It's not too much of senior level, because obviously the strategic job, as the jobs get strategic, they move towards the central head offices. So what our experience has been is that these kind of profiles which we need, or these kind of talent which we require in the rural sector, they are not really so net savvy or social media savvy. They'll not be available on LinkedIn, etc. So therefore, developing that pipeline is going to be a different ball game compared to what we do in the urban or metros. So our businesses, therefore, if you look at the total book size of 94,000 crores, only less than about 25,000 crore type business will be partially focused towards metros and urban. And most of it is towards the rural sector, which is my rural finance business, which is 25,000 crore book size. Farm and warehouse receipt financing is about 14,000 crore. Two-wheeler is 11,000-12,000 crore. Home finance is about 20,000 crore. So on and so forth. So in that housing finance, let's say some part of SME and some part of housing is towards the urban side. Therefore, using technology to build a talent pipeline becomes quite a challenge here. What works for us very effectively is to do a near perfect forecasting of what we need as manpower. Because it's a large number. We have got over 30,000 employees. And given the rate of attrition in the industry that happens, and the growth that keeps on happening, so obviously large base needs to be hired. So near perfect forecasting of manpower is very essential. That's very critical based on demographics, attrition, business demand, etc. And a proactively hiring or shortlisting of people and building a pipeline, therefore, comes into play. Now, since the strategy for hiring right at the right time, at the right cost, and an impeccable onboarding experience given to people, along with a proper induction plan, is our success mantra. A detailed functional training is conducted, a very strong handholding model is in place with a local buddy who's available to handhold, etc. And we also show a good career path to employees because essentially for the first 2 or 3 levels of supervision, we don't hire from outside. We grow from inside only. That becomes something that people look up to. And hence that
Right.
kind of has been given us a successful story with regards to our frontline talent development.
Right, right. No, I think, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things which even we are witnessing, that, while the large part of skilled or, the niche kind of things are, while they are centralized to head offices or regional offices, a large portion of manpower, which are largely feet on street, sales, collections, etc., has to be developed within, the tier 3, 4 rural cities. And I think, yes, bang on. I mean, that's what most of the career paths which we are also discussing with some of our partners we work with. Pratima, you being into your organization being into payment services, and again there is a large push of payment services going beyond the metros and the urban cities. So what is your strategy largely in developing the kind of
In fact,
manpower or the skills which are required for?
Krish, I would want to say that Fino's presence is more in the tier 2 and tier 3 onward hinterlands of
Right.
Bharat, we call it.
Correct.
We call ourselves
Right.
Bharat ka first digital payments bank, which was
Right.
listed,
Right.
etc. So
Right.
yeah, I agree to what Ajay says, but here I agree a little different. I also want to disagree to one point where we are saying that they are not tech savvy. Believe me,
No, but Pratima, I didn't say they're not tech savvy. I said they're not available on social media for seeking jobs. They
no,
are tech savvy. They are
okay,
tech
they
savvy.
may not be available
Yeah.
on, say, a Naukri or something.
Or LinkedIn, yeah.
But so what we have done is we found various other means and methods to reach out to them. And obviously now TikTok is banned. But I know in the initial years when the TikTok was there, our merchants, our people used to be picked up. They were so savvy that these reel based videos etc used to reach out to them and they would reach out back to us through reel based this thing. However, that being said, we use social media, the Insta, etc., and we were surprised as to how social media is influencing the hinterlands. Whether good or bad, we'll not have a discussion out here. But we were able to reach out to them through social media, and we saw that there were communities within those sectors, within those regions, etc., which were having their own spread within the social media. And we tried to
Correct.
tap on those and try to reach out to right up to tier 5, tier 6 villages. And we people had phones, people, so we said people over there have phones, and the I do not know the exact figures, but the usage of phones has increased tremendously in the hinterlands. And
Absolutely.
we took advantage of that and we tried to reach out. So how we have our onboarding, and we also associate a lot with the NSDC and the Sector Skills Councils of India, where we try and get our workforce from. We work through the apprentice program also to get our hands on to, the right kind of people and slightly trained, because we have a lot of fresher intake. Being a small bank, being a not a very large thing, people find it in those hinterlands, people find us as a stepping stone. I won't call that iteration, I would like to put it in a better way. They find us as a stepping stone to become bankers, banking careers, sort of. So and we take pride in saying that, okay, people, you are becoming a banker by joining us, and from us people then move on to the larger banks. They move out of their villages, or some of them even represent in their villages, represent larger banks, etc., and they get hired by larger banks. So that's a good thing. We tell them that you're growing with us, and some of them continue to stay with us, and they take on the lead roles in those clusters. So what we try to do is we use these social media platforms, and we have embedded some of our learning management systems to reach out to our employees, and for that matter our partners. We have a merchant-based model, so we have something called a Gyan Kosh. We have this thing, Fino Mitra, which is the LMS where our training modules are put up. They are self-learning, self-paced, etc. So these kind of approaches have helped us handhold them. We do have a challenge, yes, that because they are in field, we don't have branches, etc. So they are in field. So some places people are alone. Our employees are alone, reaching out to merchants, reaching out to customers. So we make use of the social media. We make use of these chats and technology, digitally driven approaches to reach out to them and stay in touch with them. And that's how we have put together a sort of a platform and a space where there is a to and fro of communication to reach out to them. Having said that, from a workforce planning perspective, we have tried to work out, even in those areas, or for that matter at the corporate, at the centric roles, we've tried to work out the criticality quotient for our employees, from a business point of view, from the role point of view, from the mandatory, because we are a regulated entity, regulated by RBI as well as SEBI now, because we are listed. So we've tried to kind of identify the critical roles till the last mile, critical people, and try to work on them, try to drive it through a data-driven approach as to see how we can, show them their career paths. How do we, plan them, make use of that force for our future businesses, for our future products, and try to, plan it that way, work on the succession planning for those roles, etc. Right. So that works a lot. Yes, but it is work in progress. We are never right on all fronts, making a lot of mistakes and, moving on and growing.
No, believe me, I mean, we are in this business and, for the last 22 years, and every day we learn something new, something new comes out whenever we are dealing with human resources and people. Interesting thoughts. So, I mean, so while Pratima, you stole some of my thunder with regards to, upskilling, and I'll come to that. But, banking in general is kind of, going through a shift in itself. If you look at how digitization and digitalization is kind of getting in. I mean, it improves productivity, it brings in more efficiency, etc. But then it also leads to challenges where certain jobs, or certain profiles are becoming, kind of niche profiles, right? And,
Yes.
So how and we can we can ask this question. We will start with Ajay. How are the companies preparing their workforce for these changes? And especially like with the whole digital thing happening, the regulator is also always, on our head, be the RBIs or the SEBIs or, anyone, and we have seen a lot of instances where a lot of large banks and financial institutions have been barred from, selling their products and services because of compliance related issues, right? So, how are companies like an L&T Finance is preparing their workforce for these changes, specifically in the areas of, say, risk management, compliance, data analytics, or even customer service, right? I mean, because even that
Well,
part of the business, that part of the service is getting extremely digitized now. Ajay.
your question is too vast, question. It includes a lot many things. So I will
Please take your time.
right. If you're talking about some companies being punished, that's more of a strategic mistake that they have done with venturing into certain areas of practices, which I'll not comment on because that's a different issue altogether. That doesn't have to do anything with the question that you have put together. Looking at digitization, shifting to digitization, L&T Finance actually in 2022 had articulated a Lakshya 26 goal, which was talking about retailization of the entire portfolio. We were about 95,000 crore book size at that time, and 55,000 crore was wholesale and 45,000 approximately was retail. So we said we would like to retailize, first of all, more than 80%. Then we wanted to bring our NS3 and GS3 down. NS3 lower than 1% and GS3 lower than 3%. The other way, sorry, 1.5% and 3 less than 3%. ROA was expected to be growing about close to 2.8 to 3%, etc. And one clear vision was that we want to be a fintech at scale, NBFC. Now, we met our goals of retailization and the other three parameters 2 years in advance. We have retailized ourselves. Our book has been now close to 94,000 crore, out of which just about 3 to 4,000 crore happens to be wholesale. That's the
Okay.
level to which we have scaled down. Obviously, that's where we get value from the market as well. So this is just to set the context. So since we swiftly moved towards digitization, the skill that is in demand today is very clearly coming as customer service, selling skills, and awareness of technology. Right. I would again like to clarify that when I said the
Sure,
in the
sure.
rural around they are everyone has a smartphone today in the rural sector. So obviously they're tech savvy. There's no question about it. When I meant that they are being actively available on certain social media from where you can go and hire. Anyways, so the skill clearly required is selling skills, customer service, and awareness of technology limited to using of digital tools. I am not saying awareness of technology from the point of developing digital tools. So at
Yeah.
LTF, we have a regular training program that happens on various do's and don'ts around all aspects of risk. We have mandatory training programs that are there. Every quarter, people have to pass it and people have to score more than 80%. And this is mandated across all levels. So this is how we ensure that aspects like risks are taken care of. Our guardrails are very strong. There are certain we also have digitally what we do as we move to the digitization mode of ours. So the vision that we had was to move from a product centric organization to a customer centric organization, and that significantly shifted our entire focus because we added a lot of functions. We added customer service as a separate vertical altogether. We never had that, focusing on customer services, etc. We also came up with a Planet app, which enables customers to get their issue resolved. And it also helps people pay up because they are all rural available in the rural and hinterlands of the India. Their capability of paying in time, capability of asking questions, capability of getting their certificates, etc., is very clearly available through the digital tool of ours, which is Planet app. And it is downloaded. It also gives them information with regard to mandi prices, etc. So that becomes area of importance for them, that how do we go and sell our crops. One thing that is what this is the front line or the people who are customer facing, but what we need to really develop is, if you have to develop a digital organization, is the back end, which creates those digital tools. And we have invested significantly in that backend. We have got an analytics department completely headed by a very senior person who has been abroad for a long time. And we've started something called Cyclops. Cyclops, I'm sure you would have heard of. It's a AI-driven engine that's developed in-house to assess credit risk and real time. Because of the granularity of the book and the size of the customer base that we have, we obviously wanted to descale it completely and de-risk it also, because we could not wait for individual cases to be decided upon by a credit manager. So we had this practice of parameterized credit since many years. Our two-wheeler loans can be, decided upon in a few minutes. A farm loan, tractor loan can be decided in about 10 to 12 minutes. Housing loan will be very in the near future, closing in about timeline about say 20 minutes or so. That's how we are speeding up in this area. So Cyclops is it's a predictive model. It uses integration of data. It uses aspects of risk management. It provides real risk-weighted solutions, and it also gives us solution towards new to credit customers. So overall, it gives a real-time solution to the person, frontline guy who is going to sell the product to the customer. Just put the details, put the Aadhaar number, whatever, PAN number, etc. if it's available, and the tool immediately throws up the credit decision at that point of time. It also decides on the risk-weighted pricing as well. So this is something we have got into new. It is just got implemented 3-4 months back, and it's giving us a good outcome. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think, that the speed again, and the efficiency is what I think today is, I mean, a customer is also looking at, and also the financial, institutions are trying to serve their customers. So Pratima, I mean, again, being a payments bank, and as you mentioned, you are largely in tier 2, 3, 4 cities, and, not many branches around. So I'm sure, your organization and you guys are like spending and investing a lot in technology related things. So, which means that, there is always this demand from an, technology point of view, or, risk point of view, because technology also brings in some kind of inherent risks as well. So, how is Fino Payments preparing, or is prepared to handle this?
Sure, sure. So what we are facing currently, and probably in the next few years, the focus for sectors like ours or organizations like ours is to focus on these job roles. One is your product design. Product design is becoming more and more increasingly important to us. The complementary roles are all the governance functions, which is your risk, compliance, your L3 function, which is your audit function, etc. So what we are investing into, obviously, we have the management trainee program where we try and get management trainees from the leading schools, engineering as well as B schools of India, and try to work with them on these roles. Apart from that, we have a job rotation program, especially for the functions like the governance functions, especially the mid-level or the lower level positions for these are filled up from job rotations through through IJPs which are rolled out, and mandatory job rotation. So this helps us building a pipeline for these kind of functions other than the lateral hiring that takes place. So we have a lot of mandatory trainings that are happening. We work with institutions like IIBF, the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, with CAB, RBI. We're trying to work out a program with some more institutions like these to work on firstly, the mandatory trainings which are required for some of these critical functions. And other than that, on the additional skill sets that people can develop, people should be aware about. For example, the KYC AML function or the anti-money laundering function is receiving so much of importance. So we actually working out on a module for getting all our employees go through the same, apart from the basic mandatory training that is working out. So Yeah, right from apart from technology bit, we have these functions: the product design, risk, audit, compliance, etc., which are our core areas that we are currently focusing on.
And this is for Ajay. I mean, while, all these new technologies are being, embraced by banking and financial services, it is also important that, we keep upskilling and reskilling our employees. Now, I do a lot of these sessions, with a lot of financial services organization, and one of the key, thing which is right now we are all confronted with, a large part of it is because of competition and, whatever. The whole, we always key a term, I mean, there's a term we use is HTD, right? Hire, train, and deploy. And this is specifically when you also hire new, I mean, new hires within your organization. The whole, the T out of the HTT is thrown out of the window, because of the competition, because of, the whole eagerness to do more sales. So how is your organization, investing on the whole training thing, as Pratima mentioned, so within L&T Finance, how are you investing from a whole upskilling, reskilling, of your existing employees and new hires which you hire for your bank, for
I'll
your
first comment on your aspect of throwing the T out.
yeah,
Uh, the hire, train, and deploy model was created by ICICI Bank maybe 1.5 decades before. And we started it with
yes,
IFBI and Manipal. I was
right,
fortunate to be part of that core team which started this whole model in the industry. Right.
yes,
And what you say is so right, because the whole ethos with which was developed, the whole philosophy centered around training.
correct,
And today, because people want quick output, quick people getting to the field, etc., the training aspect has been compromised on,
yeah,
maybe even cost perspective as well, because that entails people staying for a larger period of time and therefore cost going up, etc. Yes, I agree, but it's very
correct,
sad. And I think we should try and do something to the extent possible that people are trained and not come, because that then it's a chain effect, because the guy is not trained, he goes and missells, he goes and does various acts which is, compromise the organization from a risk perspective, etc., and so on and so forth. At our place, the whole, as I said, induction, partially I have answered this question in the previous one, but the whole induction and the onboarding module takes care of a lot of functional training, and that's refreshed again and again for people to be uh, they're up to speed with regards to any process training, any process changes, any product changes, etc. And that's a continuous process. Where we focus on is training people for the higher level jobs. Where because I said first three levels we don't hire from outside. It's obviously important to identify the potential guys and train them for next level roles, evaluate them, and put them into a practice session before you promote them to the next level job. So we do a lot of such upskilling for people who have potential, if I have to answer in short.
okay,
Anything else you
okay.
would like to? I think
No,
I
I think
answered.
No, I think, yeah, I mean, see, this is a common problem in the industry, and especially, in retail lending pieces or CASA or feet on street kind of profiles, because, we are seeing, in retail lending in some of the product, it's as high as 20% a month. So I was talking to somebody and I said, the attrition rate is 20%. It's like, wow, that's great. I said, no, it's per month. So, it's
uh, uh,
so. So yeah, I mean that's I think is becoming a huge challenge right now.
mm,
And that brings in the other challenge within our industry is of an infant attrition, right? And this, while it might not be prevalent amongst the mid senior level roles, but then it is definitely there at the front end roles, right? At the entry level roles or the front end roles, where, as I said, I mean, it is as high as 10 to 15% for certain products and services. So, Pratima, this is for you. So, I mean, within your organization, is this an issue within your organization? And if so, what are the steps you are taking to ensure that new hires are effectively managed, and can help curb the infant attrition, which is typically a 0 to 90 days or 0 to 180 days of sorts.
Sure. Krish, you rightly said this is one of the problems that we are facing. However, last year, in fact, that's the bucket where we have the highest attrition, goes without saying. And I'm sure everywhere, wherever we have this cadre of the lowest rung of employees, in the sense where they are paid minimum wages, especially in the retail side, that's where we have the highest attrition. They are on the field, the services or the logistics around their roles are not
Right.
very compelling enough for them to stay on. And so they keep looking out for green pastures.
Right.
So what we try to work on is something called the Anubhav. We named the program as the Anubhav program. And with the help of this program, we almost dropped our infant attrition by around 3% last year. These are actual statistics that we worked on. And what we actually did was we declared every Friday 5 to 6 as the Anubhav hour.
Okay.
And the link is a standard link. It's a Zoom link that we put out to the employees. And on that link, one will find my HR team out there. So we will have one person from each centric role being there, as well as the regional HRs. They would be there on the platform, on that this thing. And a mail goes out every week, irrespective, to every new joinee of the last 3 months. We take a bucket of 3 months, and a mail goes out to them on Thursday morning that, hope you remember, tomorrow is the Anubhav hour. And it's a standard link. If you've logged in once, you've saved the link, you can get onto it. And this is, so that hour is divided into 4 parts. The first 15 minutes, the HR is actually speaking to or taking them through, I won't say that induction PPT, but just highlights of the induction PPT, which is available to them on their LMS, which in their classroom, train or desk, on your palm top, on your tab. So the HR team takes them through the basic gist or the crux of the how to and where to find things in Fino, where to find things on the Fino platform, where to find things, where to find the right kind of people. We take them through the touch points that they will have, that they can access or make them as your go-to people. We roll out, those things. And subsequently, the next 15 minutes, what we do is we take them through certain mandatory trainings they need to complete. They need to address, okay, you have to go through this XYZ trainings to be discussed in the next 15 minutes. The third 15 minutes is probably listening to them. We allow them to chat, send us a chat. We allow them to open up and talk. And believe me, so initially spoke in different languages, because people call us up from, come into the system from anywhere and everywhere. Like I said, tier 5 and tier 6. So it's a huge language difference. So we actually got HR team members or probably the training team members from various other locations to just quickly join in and revert back to that individual in his language. So we try to see that the language barrier was also taken care of over there. And doing that, and then the last 15 minutes is more of just on a fun side, kind of, where we ask them to interact and engage with us and all of it. So this way we are able to capture some of the initial teething problems. We get to understand where exactly what is happening. So we reach out to their R1s to see whether they can get in touch with them, etc. So that whole program has actually helped us create a bond with that last mile employee. with the central team, and they leave us from that platform with a phone number. We say, this is your go-to phone number for anything. You can just call us up or ping us, WhatsApp us. That's a central team member's phone number, just one number. And we say, then we'll help you. We'll try to reach back with you to you and get you to associate with the right person to solve your query. That
Right.
way we do. So doing that, there's actually been a change in the way our attrition has worked for the new joinees. It has helped us. We've received a lot of feedback on that program, positive feedback. The handholding is taken care of. The training bit, we are able to give the feedback about this to the trainers as to what exactly is coming up from there. So it's a good experience. And what we have also started side by side to work on this is, roll out bite-sized training modules for our employees, which may not exactly, because like we just said, a long-term training initiative, etc., may not actually suit a certain level and below, or for that matter, because of high attritions which are set out in the market today. So what we have initiated are, apart from the mandatory trainings, we have tried and introduced some bite-sized upskilling and training programs. We partner with a lot of external partners to help us in that, so that we are not, right away investing into some chunky thing, internally, but take partners, outsource this piece, the smaller bite-sized stuff from various specialists, and help us in training our people. That has helped us, and we are growing. Yeah.
No, I think that's an interesting thing. I mean, as I said, I interact with a lot of financial services organization. Uh, Somewhere infant attrition is now kind of construed as an act of God, right? And something which is like, it's not curable. And, so what is happening is, now everyone is trying to just open the funnel wide, right? So, let's try put as many people, I mean, whatever sticks around, sticks around. But I think, Pratima, the initiatives taken by, your organization is something which is commendable, and I'm sure, would be, can be, embraced and, taken by other organizations as well. Ajay, I mean, within L&T Finance, do you witness high infant
Yes,
attrition, or is
definitely.
it normalized?
Yes, Pratima and my problems are the same. That's not
Yeah, we can connect more often
similar.
to exchange notes.
Yeah. In fact, Krish, till the time we continue to believe that people are only objects of task achievement, and that they can
Correct.
come and go and we can continuously replace them and hire them, this menace will not shift. We will have to
Absolutely.
start thinking differently about them. We cannot take it as a problem. And let's widen this a little. The whole infant attrition. Now, what is the kind of people we hire? We generally hire freshers. Mostly we hire freshers or maybe a few years experience in the frontline jobs.
Correct.
Now, most of the freshers across the spectrum, if you see, whether you see in the top tier MBA institutes who have passed out from those organizations and come to take up their jobs or talk to look at the CAs. CAs obviously have some experience because of the internship, etc. So they know the industry better. Forget
Correct.
that. Let's look at our experience when we enter the training in the armed forces. Everybody, we
Yeah.
all thought that कि ये कहाँ आ गया boss? Where have we come?
Hmm.
तो movies में दिखाते थे
Yeah.
कि armed forces people who are heroes ये तो डंडे पड़ रहे हैं. So the whole philosophy, the whole perception that gets created in the minds of people that this is how a corporate will work is completely demolished when the people come and join the first. We call it the first job syndrome, right?
Correct.
Now, to be able to manage this, what we have done is we have a very large initiative that we have put in place. A little expanded version of what Pratma actually touched upon the right areas, that we have a expanded HR team, distributed HR team, which has been mandated to go and visit this X number of branches and X number of employees every month. And they are supposed to be meeting all the employees once a quarter. And our employee base is 32, 34,000 people.
Wow.
Right. So they are on the field, they are on the run. And the day of the HR managers is completely regimented, for want of better word, I would say, because even they have to be very clearly evaluated on what they do, on a parameter basis. So what they do is they go there, they have a 2 to 3 hour session with the employees, general session, awareness session, as what Pratima said. Then we talk to them about changes in the strategy that organization is currently doing on various other aspects, which is a input from the town hall that the MD does in the central and the regional levels. The HR team takes that
Right.
forward to the last mile. Apart from that, we also connect with the zonal leaders to understand their people issues. We do one-on-one connects with people where we see early warning signals that comes in. And then we finally done the entire day session. We also go to dealerships where we operate from and understand from them how their experience has been with regards to our people, etc.
Right.
And
Right.
we do a proper Google-based survey where we evaluate the alignment of all these employees with regard to our policies, understanding of our policies, understanding of our strategy, vision, etc. And then we come to a score. We've seen a significant shift in the score and the overall parameter that we saw. That is point number one. Second, what we do is we do a ground sensing report that each manager has to send from each of their branch visits to a central location with zonal area. We also do a database analysis with regards to attrition. And that database analysis is not just about those typical parameters of what get you. We do a lot of deep diving in terms of what can be the core reason why people are attracting. And the
Right.
third tool we use is our exit interview. Our exit interview is not the run-of-the-mill exit interview that is ki, acha, personal reasons, got a better job, therefore left, got married, therefore left, higher studies, therefore left. We have put together a very, very detailed exit interview, which is an in-house instrument again we created, where we probe a lot and we come to a root cause analysis as to why has the person really, what was the trigger of the person leaving? See, a person would have, I'm a very, very strong believer of the fact that person would have left the job and because he got a better offer. But what was the trigger for the person to go and seek a better job is a question.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we dwell into that. So these three tools put together, and then we have finally a zonal leadership forum where all the business heads of the zone, they come together. Data inputs come from the HR team. I chair the forum across the country for all the businesses actually. And then we discuss in detail with regards to our ground sensing report. Ground sensing report can also include a behavior which is not liked by the employee. And we
Yeah.
make it very, very bare and open at that forum. So we take a lot of corrective steps. The zonal leadership forum started from the month of June. We are seeing a significant shift in the frontline attrition and
Okay.
frontline absconding as well, because absconding is something
Yeah.
that we generally tend to miss. People who just leave
Yeah.
and stop coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that is a cause of worry for us. That's almost completely come down to zero
Wow.
for most of the
Okay.
retail businesses. So that's the level of impact that. Yeah, that is the level of
And
impact this
that's
forum.
also and that's also a sign that there is a lot of transparency, because a lot of reason of absconding is because of lack of transparency, lack of trust,
Absolutely.
and I think, yeah, so if it has been minimal, I think that trust, that transparency has improved.
Yes.
Great thoughts. I think, and trust me, I mean, this is one of my first conversation where, as I again repeat at the risk of repeating, that it's not an act of God, it is a curable thing. And there are efforts which are being put in to kind of improve it. So, thanks Ajay, thanks Pratima for those thoughts. So yeah, I mean, as we, come to the end of this discussion, just wanted to have some closing thoughts from both you, Ajay and Pratima, and on so while market moods can stay up and down right now, it is rightly a little kind of a doom gloom with strictures coming from RBI around unsecured loans. There's that things have kind of slowed down. The kind of festivities we were expecting was not up to the mark, and this and that. But I guess every one of us are in agreement that India story is here to stay, and the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat by 2047 and 5 trillion and $10 trillion economy. So just wanted to, and Pratima and Ajay, your closing thoughts on this is how is your organization aligned, to this whole Atmanirbhar Bharat and $10 trillion economy, and how do you think,
Yeah, we
how
lost
is
you.
your organization aligned towards the whole, Atmanirbhar thing and the $10 trillion thing, and how do you think your organization is contributing towards reaching those goals?
Fino, when it started as an objective and it was curated as an organization or an idea, incubated as an idea, it stands for Financial Inclusion Objective, FINO. Okay, that's where the word
Okay.
FINO actually comes in. To be a catalyst to the entire financial objective of the government. And that is where we started the whole journey. And when we became a payments bank, I believe that was where the regulators wanted the payment systems to be driven into the hinterlands, etc. And we continue to, partner with this objective, be the catalyst for this whole financial inclusion agenda. And various state governments where we are partnering with its correspondent Sakhis who are being trained. These are villagers who are women, and they are being trained to be bankers in their community, in their hamlets, in their villages, smaller setups, sort of. So we across states like UP, Bihar, we have Rajasthan, we have the BC Sakhi program where we are had that interactions and partnering with the government associations to run such in. Apart from that, in the these things like the Ayushman Bharat program, the likes also, we continue to do that. And every time the governments coming up, state governments or the central government comes up with some need, that is where we try to innovate, and that is where we are trying to put our heads together, because we know we have the reach, either
Right.
digitally or even physically, our physical digital in a way. But yes, because of our reach, we are able, people who pass through our platforms from that level of initial financial inclusion to financial stability and financial growth next, as we say, as we also aim to become a small finance bank in the near future, etc. So yeah, we grow, our customers are growing. We have taken them from being the underbanked population to the banked population, and now a properly digitally assisted banking population for the country.
Yep. Sure. Great thoughts. I think, Ajay,
Ishendu,
in the interest of time.
yeah,
Yeah.
see, if talk about the $10 trillion economy and Atmanirbhar Bharat, I think it all boils down to just basic things that keep growing, have an aggressive growth path, and ensure that. So we have an aggressive plan. We have a plan of becoming a 2 lakh crore book size by retail book size by about 2028. We should obviously, create so many jobs in the rural area, in the real Bharat, actually speaking. That's one contribution. And I think if one has to really grow, contribute to the economy, it's to keep your basics in place, keep your ambitions in place. And since I'm a fan of cricket, I can just use this example saying that uh, if the times are tricky, if RBI does whatever it does to ensure that the economy remains in place, put your head down, put your bat close to the pad. Don't need to use cross bats every time, and
Correct.
growth in the right pace will keep happening, and we are
Right.
in that direction.
Right. No, I think, yes, absolutely. I think, financial services as an organization being so regulated, yes, you can't play a slog sweep or a cross-batted shot. You have to bat
Huh.
with a straight bat. And yeah, I think that's a great analogy. Yeah, I mean, it's already 2 minutes over. So thank you, Ajay. Thanks, Pratima. I think, as we strive, towards, our brighter future, I think the contribution from the financial services will be a major, factor towards our growth. And I think the kind of work which your organization is doing and, the kind of insights which you shared would be treasured, by our subscribers and viewers of this webinar. So thank you very much for your thoughts, Ajay and Pratima, and
Okay.
look forward to have, such meaningful chats again in near future. Thank you, everyone.